Would Jesus be considered politically left or right today? An intriguing question, isn't it? In our world of diverse ideologies, understanding where the teachings of Jesus might fit in is a fascinating exploration. This video will venture into the heart of Jesus's messages, comparing them with the principles of both left and right-wing politics. This isn't about labeling, but rather an interesting perspective to ponder upon. So, without further ado, let's delve into the teachings of Jesus. To understand Jesus's political leanings, it's crucial to first understand his teachings. Jesus's teachings are vast and varied, but some of the key themes that emerge are those of love, peace, equality, and forgiveness. Love, in particular, is a cornerstone of his message. He urged his followers to love one another as they would love themselves, and even to love their enemies. It's a radical kind of love that transcends social boundaries, cultural norms, and personal prejudices. Then there's peace. Jesus is often referred to as the Prince of Peace. He advocated for peaceful resolution of conflicts, and he himself practiced nonviolence. He taught his followers to turn the other cheek when faced with aggression, essentially promoting a philosophy of pacifism. Equality, too, is a major theme in Jesus's teachings. He treated everyone with equal respect, regardless of their social status or personal circumstances. He dined with tax collectors and sinners, spoke to women in public, and touched people who were considered unclean. He broke down societal barriers and challenged the rigid hierarchies of his time. Moreover, Jesus' teachings centered around compassion and care for the poor, the sick, and the marginalized. He emphasized the importance of helping those in need and spoke against the accumulation of wealth at the expense of others. His message was one of social justice and economic equality. And lastly, forgiveness. Jesus preached a message of forgiveness that was as radical as his teachings on love. He taught his followers to forgive those who wronged them, not just once, but 70 times, 7 times. It's a level of forgiveness that requires an immense amount of empathy and grace. These teachings of Jesus reflect a deep concern for social justice, equality, and peace. They highlight the importance of love, compassion, and forgiveness in human interactions. They challenge us to look beyond our own interests and consider the needs and welfare of others. With an understanding of Jesus's teachings, we can now compare them to modern political ideologies. Now let's look at how Jesus's teachings align with the principles of the political left. The political left, as we understand it today, champions principles such as equality, social justice, and care for the marginalized and the environment. Let's take a closer look to see how these principles align with the teachings of Jesus. First up, equality. Jesus preached the equal value of all individuals, as we see in his words, "Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." This ethos very much resonates with the left's focus on equality. Next, social justice. Jesus was a vocal critic of social injustices and oppression. He advocated for the poor, the sick, the outcasts, much like the political left, which seeks to rectify social injustices and give voice to the voiceless. Caring for the marginalized is another principle where we see alignment. Jesus often interacted with and stood up for those marginalized by society, such as lepers, tax collectors, and sinners. Similarly, the political left pushes for policies that protect and uplift marginalized groups. Finally, environmental stewardship. While the Bible doesn't address environmental issues directly, it does call for humans to be good stewards of the earth. This aligns with the left's emphasis on environmental protection. So, Jesus' teachings seem to align quite closely with the principles of the political left. But what about the political right? Let's now look at how Jesus' teachings align with the principles of the political right. There are several key pillars of this ideology, including individual liberty, limited government, and traditional values. Firstly, individual liberty. This principle can be seen in Jesus' teachings about personal responsibility. He urged people to take control of their own spiritual journey, to make their own choices, and to face the consequences of those choices. This reflects the right's emphasis on personal freedom and responsibility. Secondly, limited government. Jesus taught that his kingdom was not of this world, implying a separation between spiritual and earthly matters. This mirrors the right's belief in minimal government interference in personal and societal affairs. Thirdly, Traditional values. The right often champions the preservation of traditional societal structures and norms. Jesus, in his time, upheld many Jewish customs and laws, demonstrating respect for tradition and established norms. However, it's important to note that Jesus also challenged societal norms when they conflicted with love and compassion. He reached out to the marginalized, healed on the Sabbath, and preached a radical form of love that transcended societal boundaries. In conclusion, while there are aspects of Jesus' teachings that align with the principles of the political right, there are also significant areas of divergence. So Jesus' teachings also have some common ground with the principles of the political right. This leads us to an interesting conclusion. So, based solely on his teachings, it seems that Jesus aligns more closely with the principles of the political left. We've dissected Jesus' teachings and compared them to the ideologies of the political left and right. His emphasis on social justice, welfare, and love for all, particularly the marginalized, resonates strongly with the left's ideology. However, his teachings also bear some alignment with the principles of the right, emphasizing personal responsibility and moral integrity. But they don't fit neatly into either box. His teachings were of transcendent love, peace, and unity. Jesus encouraged his followers to love their neighbors as themselves, to forgive, and to extend a helping hand to the disadvantaged. These are universal values that blur political boundaries. As we attempt to place Jesus' teachings within our modern political spectrum, it's important to remember that his teachings were not designed to be political, but to steer humanity towards higher ideals of love, peace, and equality. In conclusion, while Jesus' teachings seem to align more closely with the political left, they also transcend these political categories with their universal appeal and timeless wisdom. So instead of trying to fit Jesus' teachings into our present political boxes, remember that they outstretch them, guiding us towards love, peace, and equality for all. Thank you for watching.
We are constantly making new content to help you on your walk of faith. Please like and subscribe to make sure you stay up to date with the latest content.